Hello everybody, welcome to Gregsbeerreviews today. Time to take that walk and go see what's in the fridge today. Hello everybody, thanks for stopping by today. Today we have Flying Dog's Double IPA. Right off the bat, I'm going to tell you that Rate Beer has got this classified as an American Strong Ale, and they're calling it the Double Dog Pale Ale, but they've got the IPA bottle listed there. It had an alias from the listings to this. So I don't know why they would classify this as a pale ale when it's a double IPA, and it's a big one too. It's 11.5%er. So I don't know why they would class those together. I don't understand that. Don't agree with that. I think that's asinine. So there's a lot of difference between a pale ale and an IPA usually. You're going to have a lot more bitterness, bigger IBUs. It's just a different style of beer. I don't know why they would classify them together. They don't make any sense to me. None. It makes no sense to me. None. So I may have done this a long time ago, guys. They did 4, 5, 6 years ago. They were doing a little 7-ounce bottles. It didn't last long. They only did them for a short while. And I bought a couple of them. I don't even remember which ones they were. They've been so long ago. And I burnt their ass up on the reviews because they were charging $2 for those little 7-ounce bottles. I wasn't a fan of that, and basically come out and said I wasn't buying any more of those 7-ounce bottles. So this is, and their artwork is very different from everything else that you see. They're pretty rad artwork on their beers, Flying Dog. So. And this one has some kind of dating over here. It says 091A16. So not exactly sure what kind of Julian code that is. I don't have any idea, guys. I didn't go to their site, didn't look it up or anything like that. Would much prefer to see a month, day, and a year. Of course, y'all know that. Everybody that watches my reviews know how I feel about this, especially on an IPA or a double IPA, instead of some silly ass code. They did print it on the label here on the bottle, instead of some kind of black ink on the glass that you can't see hardly. But it doesn't take any more effort to put month, day, and a year instead of some code on the label. That's why I don't buy very many Flying Dog beers. That's the main reason I don't buy very many of their beers, because they use this silly ass code. Even though their beers, some of them are fairly tasty, I'm just not into buying beers when I pick them up off the shelf and I can't make heads or tails of their coding, their dating code. So they need to step up to the plate and do month, day, and a year. They're big enough. They're a big enough brewery where they can do that, and they choose not to. So I choose not to buy very many of their beers. So, with that being said, if I reviewed this years ago, this is a re-review of it. Thought I would pick it up. I seen it, and I said, have I done this? I'm not sure. It's been too long ago. So we're going to do it. If I haven't done it, this is a brand new review. Like I said, 11.5%. Says here the IBUs are 85 on this one, guys. Commercial description says Double Dog Double Pale Ale, which is a lie. It's an IPA. Backed by popular demand, our original Wild Dog release is back, and this time it's for good. Double Dog Double Pale Ale. And it doesn't say that. Even though the picture shows double IPA, the description is calling it a double pale ale. I'm not going to say anything else about that. Somebody's got their head up their ass. Generously hopped with ale with a deep red color and poured a nice frothy head. The abundance of hops will conjure some provocative aromas with hints of raisins and citrus. Why would you get raisins in an IPA? Food pairings, cuisines, barbecue, cheeses, pepper, Monterey, pepper jack, sharp, blue cheddar. Your more pungent cheeses, gorgonzola, Limburger. And the meat is game, grilled meat, and salmon. Glass bar snifter, tulip oversized wine glass. Yep, my favorite glass here today, guys. And this says it can be sold for long periods of time, which is a bunch of horse hockey. You do not want to sell your IPAs or double IPAs, guys. Don't do it. Don't do it. It's just going to turn into a malt bomb. Trust me on this. Unless you like malt bombs, if you like that big, heavy, malty mess, stick it in there for 2 or 3, 5 years, and you'll have what you like then. I do not like that. I do not like that. If I'm going to taste something really malty, I'll drink that style of beer instead of a double IPA that's been sitting in the fridge for 3 or 4 or 5 years. And usually when you try to cellar one of these, the hops will break down and they'll form a bunch of floaties and sediment in the bottom of the bottle that when you pour it in the glass, all this junk in the trunk is just flying around. That's the hops that have coagulated, basically, and it's settled to the bottom of the bottle. And it doesn't settle like hard sediment like a home brew or something like that would. They're very loosely just floating around in the bottom. When you try to pour it, all that stuff runs out into your glass. Not a big fan of that. Unless it's an unfiltered beer or a bottle conditioned beer, I don't like a lot of floaties in an IPA. I just don't. Now, if it's unfiltered or bottle conditioned, you're going to get that. That's just part of it. And a lot of unfiltered IPAs are very, very tasty. That leaves a lot of juiciness and all that stuff. But coagulated hops just floating around in the bottom of the bottle that from being old, not a fan of that. So I try to drink mine fresh, guys, and I think you should too. Take my advice. If you're a hop head, you're going to like it a lot better fresh. All right, I don't think there's anything else we need to talk about, so let's stop talking and start pouring. Into the glass we go. Big beer, 11.5%. That should kind of, well, it might generate a little too much head. Let me back off on that before I screw up. We'll just pour a heavy backhand on this just to get a little bit of head there. Yeah, that's what she said. A little over a finger of head, nice frothy, creamy looking head on that. Very clear. I can see the light right through it. It does have a nice reddish tint to it. Almost looks like a red ale. Got a nice red tint to it. A little bit yellower down in the thin part of the glass, but the big bold parts, very red. Looks like a red ale to me in the glass, it really does. Let's get a nose on it. A little bit of hops in there, but it does have a big maltiness to it, guys. So I don't know exactly when this was put in the bottle. That silly ass code that they're using on there. It does have a 16, so I'm kind of thinking this is a Best Buy sometime 16. Like I said, it says 091A16. So are they saying this is Best Buy 09 of 2016? I don't know what the 1A stands for. Like I said, I didn't go to the website. I hardly ever do that. You shouldn't have to. You shouldn't have to go to their website to figure out how old the damn beer is. So I don't buy very many of them, guys. A little bit of alcohol in there, 11.5%. But to me, it's got more maltiness to it than it does hop presence. So I don't know what this is going to bring. Not a big fan of a big malty IPA. Cheers. A little bit of citrus in there. Just a slight hint of some pine. But a big maltiness on the back end of it. So, I'm not a big fan of a big malty IPA. I'm going to tell you that right off the bat, guys. I have no idea what this 091A. Let me take a quick second here and look and see what it says for Flying Dog. I'm not going to the website. I'm going to my site that tells me where the stuff is dated. Flying Dog uses a best before date. We use a modified Now, why did this thing go crazy? Well, let me back it up. It jumped about 5 pages ahead here. Electronics, you gotta love it. Flying Dog. Now we're back to where we were. We use a modified Julian calendar date to date most of our beer. If you look at the lower right corner of the label, you'll find a code that reads something like 123A12. The first 3 numbers are the day of the year that the beer will be out of date. The first 3 numbers are the day of the year that the beer will be out of date. And this says 091. So it'll be out of date on the 91st day. In the middle letter is a code we use internally to keep track of what batch it is we're on. To me, that ought to be a different number somewhere else other than in the dating code. And the last 2 numbers are the year. If we decipher the code above, it says this will be out of date on the 91st day. So January, February, March. This beer, according to them, will be out of date at the end of March. So how long a shelf life did they give their beers? 3 months? 4 months? 5 months? 6 months? Who knows? Who knows with that date code on there? That's why we need a bottled on date. Are they giving it a 3-month shelf life? 6-month shelf life? A year shelf life? How long of shelf life are they giving this beer? So, if it's out of date, if they're giving it a 6-month shelf life and it's out of date at the end of March and we're in the first week of February, this beer will be out of date at the end of March and we're into, I'm reviewing this on the 3rd of February. So, technically, if it's a 3-month shelf life, we're about halfway through. To me, it tastes rather malty for a beer that's a month and a half old. And if they're giving it a longer shelf life than that, which we do not know, it's going to get more malty and more malty and more malty over time. That's why, to me, guys, with the brewers doing different things as far as shelf life, how are you going to know? Because you don't know what that brewery's shelf life is. So the best before date, or their expiration date, is horse hockey. You know where I'm going with this, guys. We have no idea how long this damn beer has been in this damn bottle. We just know it's going to, they want you to have it by the end of March, the 91st day of the year. So we have no way of knowing how old the beer is by them doing that. So it's to their advantage, not ours. So that's why I don't buy very many of these, and probably won't buy another one for quite a while. Maybe they'll step up to the plate and put a month date a year, a bottled on date. Some of them even do a bottled on and best by date. You get both. You get both of the information, which lets the consumer make that decision. When they do this, they're taking the decision out of your hands, guys, which is not good for the consumer. Good for the brewery, but it's not good for the consumer. So that's just how I feel. Just my OCD, just my 2 cents. Not a outstanding beer as far as I'm concerned. Rather malty for a double IPA. Personally, I think the English style beer that we did yesterday had a little more citrusy, tangerine, orange taste to it, even though it's 9% instead of 11.5%. And it was English style, but this is not. This is an American style. So probably. And I haven't had very much of it. You see how much I poured in there and sipped on it. But I can pretty much say right now that it'll probably be quite a while before I buy another Flying Dog beer. As long as I keep these silly-ass codes on the corner of the bottle. And it's been a long time since I've done one. And it's going to be a long time before I do another one. They need to step up to the plate and put a month and a year on it when it was put in the bottle. Otherwise, they won't get my change. They won't get my dollars. Somebody else, some other sucker, can come along and buy this stuff, not me. Well, I'm going to sip on it for a while, let her taste it, and we'll come back and see where this one ends up. As of right now, guys, it's definitely not an A beer. Alright guys, I'm back. Got a little left here. Been sitting on it probably about 35 minutes or so. For an American style double IPA, it leaves a lot to be desired. Even though it's a well-made beer, the alcohol is very well hidden for 11.5%. very well hidden. I will give them that. But it is way too malty and biscuity tasting for something that should be a lot more hoppy. And with the code that they're using, we have no idea what their shelf life they're giving this beer is. So whether it's 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, or longer, you never know. Especially when they're giving you a best by date or some kind of expiration date. How long has it been in the bottle? We don't know. We don't know. So unless you go to some kind of site to figure out what that silly ass code means, you're at a loss, guys. And who wants to have to go through that to buy a beer? You shouldn't have to. You really shouldn't have to. So I'm not a fan of their dating code because we don't know how long it's been in the bottle. So let's do the final chug on this one. Decent, above average, definitely not to the A category, guys. I'm gonna give this a 6, which is a B. If I was putting a numeric rating on this, guys, I would probably put it somewhere in the middle of the 80s, 84, 85, somewhere in that area. It's not the coating that the consumers need. Coating for the breweries, yeah. It tells them the information they need and when it should be drank by, but it doesn't tell us what shelf life they're giving it or how long it's been in the bottle. So that's the biggest problem I got with Flying Dog, guys. That's why I don't do very many of their beers, and probably why it'll be a while before you see me do another one. So with that being said, let's go over to Beer Advocate, and they say 88 in a good range. I think that's a tad better marks than what it actually deserves. If it was a little fresher, maybe I might step up to the plate, but with the coating they're using, how are we to know? What's the shelf life on this beer, guys? Over to Rate Beer. Rate Beer is very generous. 98 overall and 95 in the style. I could not disagree with those numbers more. Like I said, if you get this beer fresh, it's probably an outstanding beer. It's probably an A beer. But with the coating they're using, what's the shelf life? We do not know. We know when they want us to have it by, but is that a 3, 4, 5, 6 month or even longer shelf life? Only they know. Only they know. So with that being said, guys, I think it's a mid B range, not A at all. At all. Had much better beers than this. Even though it's a well-made beer, I did say that. The alcohol is very well hidden, but it is very malty for the beer that I'm drinking tonight. So with that being said, if you've had this one from Flying Dog, like I said, even the Rate Beer has us calling it a double pale ale. It is definitely not a pale ale, guys. It's definitely an IPA. It even has it on the label, IPA. But this is the picture they've got for this beer. And Beer Advocate's got it right. They've got it listed as the IPA. And Rate Beer has it as an American Strong Ale. Can they not read? Does it not say double IPA on the label? Crack smoking monkeys, yes. Alright guys, if you've had this one from Flying Dog, let me know what you think, guys. And come on back tomorrow. Let's see if we can dig out something a little tastier than this. This was okay, but I want to find a tin beer. What do you think? Let's go see what we can find. Let's go see what's in the fridge. See you there.